The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
Incredible 3 experts here with me. I'm going to be interviewing them. And the very first lady I would like to introduce to you, and when I finish introducing, please give her the biggest hand ever. Would you help me? Yes? Because she has so much to give you, but she's only going to give you as much as you're going to give her. So can you give her a lot of energy? Yes? Yes? Yes! I want us to be the loudest so everybody can come here like, oh my God, what's going on here? Yeah, I have a lot of energy. You gotta replicate that. Yeah. So we've got here next to me is Catherine Gray, and Catherine Gray is an award-winning writer and editor who worked on stuff for magazines such as Cosmopolitan, Glamour, and Fabulous for nearly a decade. So she has so much experience. And I was just speaking to Catherine, and Catherine was talking about addictions. And one of my biggest thing was about being addicted to smoking cigarettes and how to break my addiction. And I know you have such an inspiring story. So can you please quickly share about what addictions did you go through and how did you overcome this addiction?
Yeah, sure. So about 5 years ago, when I was 33, I realised that I was addicted to 2 things. One was alcohol. I was drinking a lot. I was drinking 7 or 8 bottles of wine a week. And I knew that it was a sensible decision to cut it out, but I really didn't want to, which is why I called my book The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober, because I thought being sober was going to suck. I thought I was never going to go out again, never going to dance again, never going to date again. And the other one was I realised that I was addicted to the idea that a romantic relationship would make me whole. And I felt like when I was single, I was incomplete. So I took a year off dating as well. So 33 was like the year when I quit alcohol and quit dating for a year, but now I reintroduced dating.
Wow.
So I had 2 big addictions and I've conquered them, but who knows what I'll get addicted to next. Social media is my new nemesis.
How many of you can relate to the social media addiction right now? Netflix, yes? So how did you overcome this addiction? How did your books come about? You wrote 2 books, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your books. What's their name and why did you write those books and how can this book help other people?
Okay, so the first one was The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober. So that was about quitting alcohol. And the second one is The Unexpected Joy of Being Single. So that was about that year off dating and how I reframed how I think about relationships and how I now don't feel like I'm incomplete when I'm single, because we're literally trained to think it's like the other half.
Yeah.
That you're a bit of a failure if you haven't got a romantic partner. So with the alcohol, I mean, that's a really long answer. I don't know how to answer that quickly, but a lot of the things that I replaced it with was self-care. So things like exercise and meditation and being kind to myself.
What's your top tip to give on self-care?
I would say to sort of self-parent, to treat yourself as you would a toddler, like give yourself that kind of tenderness and compassion. It sounds so obvious, but if you're tired, have a nap. If you're hungry, eat something. We just sort of barrel through life and don't treat ourselves as we would a child in our care. So that would be something that was a real breakthrough for me. I started to parent myself and look after myself and be nice to myself, whereas before I wasn't like that. That's
incredible. Can you guys relate to Catherine? Can you relate to her story? Yes. And for those of you who don't raise your hands, it's okay. We all know that we all relate to this. So thank you so much. Give a big hand. That was amazing. Thank you. So if we have a couple of minutes at the end, I want you to think of some questions that you could ask them. Even grab them after they finish. Just grab them and ask them the questions. And just to make the most out of this opportunity to speak to them. So the next speaker, I've got Kirsty Duig. And Kirsty Duig, she's the editor of The Moment magazine. And she joined in The Moment magazine at its launch and writer for over 20 years. So she's got so much experience. And I was speaking to Kirsty earlier and I was like, I had this addiction. I used to be emotional. I had an addiction of emotional eating. I used to smoke 20 cigarettes a day. And obviously that didn't support my life's vision. And when I spoke to Kirsty, she's like, I don't have any addiction. I was like, what? What do you mean you don't have any addiction? Everybody has addiction. So I'm super excited to speak to Kirsty. So first of all, Kirsty, give a big hand. Come on, give a big hand.
Hello.
She's got so much valuable nuggets to share with you because she's coming from experience. And Kirsty, I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about who you are, now introduced, but your story. How come you're so good when it comes to releasing stress and mindfulness?
For complimentary resources from my book, my complimentary e-course, The Power of the Question, or recommended reads, go to www.thequestion.com/resources. For more information on my coaching or mentoring, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
So I'm the editor of In the Moment magazine. I don't know if you know it. We launched a couple of years ago. So the magazine is all about well-being and mindfulness. And one of the things that we talk a lot about is dealing with stress. I wouldn't say I don't get stressed. I do get stressed. But for me, it's been all about reframing the way that I think about being busy, and not always equating being busy with being stressed. I'm a mom. I've got 2 children. I work pretty much full time, but I also do lots and lots of the childcare. So I am really busy. But it's been about taking those little moments at the beginning, in the middle, at the end of the day, and just taking a little bit of time for myself. So like Catherine said, treating myself kindly. So one thing that I do is I get up earlier than I need to, so that I'm up before the rest of my family, and I take 10 minutes and I just like a bit of peace and quiet. I go downstairs, I put the kettle on, I usually do deep breathing while the kettle is boiling, and I just have a really calm start to every day, because I know that as soon as my children are up and as soon as I get to work, I am going to be really busy. One of the other things that I do is often, if I am feeling stressed, is think about the why rather than the what. So if I'm feeling stressed at work, one thing that I find is really helpful to think about why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if I'm thinking about why I'm writing a feature or why I'm really busy, it's about considering, well, I'm writing this feature because I want actually other people to read it and I want people to be helped by it. Excuse me, I've got a really bad throat. So that in itself will help me to feel calmer, because I know more about why I'm doing what I'm doing rather than constantly thinking about the what.
Wow, that is so powerful. It's so true, because, I love what you said about thinking about the why and not the what. And for us who don't like to wake up early and who need to break through that pattern, what is one action that we can take from today, leaving this room? What is one action that can take us where we get this emotional attachment to our why, and we can start taking action today and break through that pattern? Can you give us one tip that we can do instead, other than waking up early?
I would say we've just been talking to Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, and one of the things he talks about is micro stress moments. And I've found this really enlightening, which is that often in our day, there's really big stresses, like I'm stressed with a deadline, but there's lots of these tiny little stress moments that all add up and tip you over your stress threshold. And one of the things that he talks about is being really conscious of those. And it might be actually having a really loud alarm in the morning that wakes you up so that you wake up rather than gently. It might be being slightly late for things stresses you out. And it's just about being aware of all those little tiny things that add up to making you feel stressed, and trying to step back from those and put into place really simple, easy practices, like maybe getting up earlier, but that doesn't have to be it. That can then allow you to remove all those little micro stresses from your life, so that you don't have this build-up of stress, which then tips you over into feeling anxious or angry or even panicked. And I think for me that I found that really, really helpful, because often it is the little things that tip you over the edge rather than that big kind of stressy deadline.
That's awesome. Wow. Can we give her a big hand? That was incredible. Thank you so much. And I loved so much that you're being authentic, and you really share from the heart, which is actually, this is what we connect to. So thank you so much. And the next speaker I would like to introduce to you, and by the way, we may have a little minutes of a question, so make sure that you have a question ready. So the next speaker that I have for you is Gemma Andrew Adiyama. I said the name correct.
You did.
Yay! Gemma Andrew Adiyama. So Gemma Andrew Adiyama is a certified holistic wellness coach. She's a blogger and retreat and workshop host behind UK Wellbeing and Lifestyle blogs, Celery and Cupcakes. I love the name. That's incredible. And you just had your second baby, right?
I have, yes. She's 6 months old.
Wow.
Yes.
How old is your firstborn?
4 years old. So
4
life
years.
is very busy with running a business and having 2 little ones at home. And for me, I'm very much into self-care and helping women feel, well, and men, but mainly women is who I work with, feel nourished in all aspects of their lives. And I'm really into authentic living as well. I don't believe in doing something that you're really not interested in or something that doesn't bring you joy, because life is too short for doing anything like that. So for me, self-care is treating yourself like you would your best friend, and also kind of taking 10 minutes for yourself every single day, which I think you mentioned before, just to kind of take a break, relax, take a minute for yourself, whether it's a deep breath. Self-care can be anything that brings you pleasure, brings you joy. So it might be walking for someone, getting some fresh air, connecting with nature. It could be reading a book, reading a magazine, In the Moment magazine. It could be listening to music, dancing around your kitchen, listening to music. It could be anything that brings you joy. And I think when you align your self-care with what's real to you, it's very uplifting, it's heartwarming, and it kind of helps you live your best life because you're happy doing it. I'm not really into kind of forcing things into your life. I think it has to be feel very natural and organic for you to feel more grounded and connected.
Thanks. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And you just became a second-time mommy. So what advice would you give for mompreneurs or even dadpreneurs, anybody who's taking care of somebody? What advice would you give them? How do you manage your business and your momhood all together?
I would say that self-care isn't selfish. It's the most selfless thing that you can do for yourself. When you look after yourself, you can give the best of you to your family and your loved ones. So always make yourself a priority. Never put yourself at the bottom of the priority list. And it could be something like taking joy in having a hot cup of tea. It doesn't have to be like going to a spa or a retreat or on a holiday and leaving your family behind. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could be just take joy in the simple things, because those are the things that you can build into every single day to make self-care a perpetual habit, because spa days and holidays are amazing, but they're not something that you can perhaps afford. Well, I can't afford a spa day and a holiday every day of the week. I wish I could. But things like that, they're not regular occurrences, but things like enjoying a hot cup of tea or, I don't know, whatever brings you joy, just build it into your day and you'll see the benefits pretty automatically, I think.
For more information on collaborating, partnering, sponsoring, supporting or speaking at any of our events or finding out more about our legacy clubs, go to www.thebestyou.co. If you're interested in finding out more about the amazing content we have, please go to www.thebestyou.online and get your 14-day free trial now.
Awesome. So I have a question for all three of you, and then we can get some of you to ask the question. So very quickly, what is the biggest resource that you would recommend when it comes to mindfulness, stress? And you can promote your book, okay? Be confident, promote your book. You can say it's your book, because I just recently wrote a book and I want everybody to read it. So you can say it's your book. So what is the biggest resource? Is it a video that they can go and watch? Is it a book that they can go and read? What is the biggest resource that you can recommend them to go and watch after this or read after?
My blog. Can I say my blog?
Awesome. Yeah, give us your blog. What's the name of your blog?
celeryandcupcakes.com. And my Instagram is unconditionally nourished.
So can you say that slowly? Is it
unconditionally nourished?
Unconditionally nourished. So you can write it down, unconditionally nourished.
That's me on Instagram. And I share a lot of tips on self-care, realistic self-care, not meditating for 3 hours in the morning at sunset or drinking green smoothies with unicorn hair in them, like realistic self-care that works for you, that's going to work, you know? Because, I'd love to go to a yoga retreat every year, but it's just not going to happen with 2 children. So self-care is kind of about making it realistic for you in your life too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm going to follow you as well. Thank you.
Okay, so I use an app called Budify, which has taught me everything I know. And I don't have shares in Budify, I swear. But it's like $1.99, and it's the best $1.99 I've ever spent.
Wow.
Because it's taught me how to... For me, mindfulness is about detaching from my emotions and realizing that I don't have to feel held hostage by them. So say, for instance, if I'm anxious about something, like I was anxious about this, detaching from that and watching it and almost treating it like a psychological pet, like a bird that you need to calm down or something, soothing it.
Yes.
And also knowing that if you're angry about something, you can pause and you don't have to react to that anger. You can choose a different reaction. And I learned all of that from this app, Budify.
Wow, so you're giving us like a huge resource here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I hope you're writing this down. Are you writing this down? Come on, this is so good.
It's Budify like Buddha.
Yes, Budify Buddha.
Yeah, like Buddha. It's spelled like Buddha. The other things I would recommend is when I have to do something that is nerve-wracking, like public speaking, which is definitely not my comfort zone, I halve my caffeine intake because when you've got adrenaline running through your system, you don't need caffeine. So I'll have a coffee because I love coffee, but then I go for a run, which cleans it out. It's like halving the caffeine, running or yoga. Just those 2 things mean that I feel calm about things. And if I don't do them, I really notice
So that's like your non-negotiables in them. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Where can we buy your books?
Where?
Yes.
Oh, pretty much anywhere, I think, like Waterstones, Amazon.
And they are called, just so you can write it down, the books are called?
The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober and The
Unexpected Joy of Being Sober
and The Unexpected Joy of Being Single.
Oh, I love the theme here. The Unexpected Joy of Being Single. And I got to sign up for this after Valentine's Day. Thank you.
One more thing is I think that we think that things that will make us happy don't make us happy.
Yeah.
So I think that a Netflix binge and looking at my phone and social media all the time will make me happy.
It's a void.
I don't know why I think that, because it doesn't. So look at what actually makes you happy, and it's often not sitting and watching 8 episodes of whatever murder mystery back to back.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay.
So I agree with Catherine. I also love Budify. And I also do not drink coffee if I'm doing any public speaking, because it's also not my comfort zone. I'm a writer by trade, so I'm behind the computer. But I had decaf on the way here from Bristol because I know that if I drink caffeine, I will be all jittery. I have to recommend our magazine in the moment. One of the things that we strive to do at the magazine is to be very non-judgmental. I'm not perfect. I do get stressed. I don't always look after myself. I do sometimes put myself right at the bottom of the pile underneath my children. My husband will say he's underneath that as well. So, but I think one of the things we strive to do is really offer a lot of choices and a lot of genuine practical ideas that you can then take away and say, okay, well, does this work for me? And if it doesn't, well, that's fine. I'll try something else. So that the idea is that you have your own little toolkit of techniques that really do work for you, whether that is doing some deep breathing, whether it's making yourself a cup of tea and sitting down and drinking it mindfully. As Gemma said, it doesn't matter what those things are. It's finding the things that absolutely work for you, because like everything else, it is very personal.
Quick question, because I just got told that we got to get off stage now. But before we go, can you give us a quick breathing exercise that we can do all together?
Well, I'll give you Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's breathing exercise rather than mine. So he does the 3-4-5 breathing, which is breathing in to the count of 3, holding for a count of 4, and then breathing out for a count of 5. And if you do that for a minute, you absolutely guarantee.
Can you show us quickly how to do it?
Literally just.
Can we do it all together? Yes?
So
okay.
The reason that you breathe out for 5 and breathe in for 3 is that if you exhale longer than you inhale, it automatically switches off your production of cortisol, which is your stress hormone. So it automatically is telling your body to get out of any fight or flight mode and get into relax mode. And if you then do that for a full minute, there's absolutely no way that your body then thinks that you're being chased by a tiger and that you need to run for the hills. You're absolutely then in a very calm state of mind. And it's so simple. And actually, you can do it when other people are there. I do it sometimes at my computer, and nobody really notices. Nobody says, "Oh my goodness, what is she doing?" Because you can kind of do it quite quietly and quite subtly. But if you are feeling a bit stressed, it's a really good way to just even 5 times will really calm you down.
Let's do it one more together. So, by the count of 3, can you count us down?
Okay, so you breathe in for 3. So 1, 2, 3. Hold for 4. 2, 3, 4. Now exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can slow it down. The more relaxed you get, you can slow down the inhale and the exhale.
That's awesome. Did you guys have fun? Did you learn something? Yes? Come on, give them a big hand. They're amazing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, make sure, we didn't have time to do a question, but make sure you grab them, do whatever it takes, add them on social media, bombard them, do the best that you can. I'm going to let them all stalk you. That's okay, right? So thank you so much. And yeah, I hope to see you again soon. Take care.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.